Greetings. I want to talk about my Wednesday before I go any further. We had, New York State kind of had snowstorms that came through, the winter storm. It hit up the East Coast, took out a lot of places. New York City had 22 inches of snow. We got 9 inches from the storm, and then we got more snow later on from what's called lake effect. Just how it works in my area. Anyhow, it's kind of slowed down for a little while by Wednesday morning. When the bus came to take my mother to adult daycare, I decided, you know what? I got things to do. It's early in the day. They picked her up at 7:45. So basically, I had already showered because I knew what time they were coming. So I put on my coat and I left. And I went to 3 different stores to look for certain things. I bought a couple of things for Mom and I bought a couple of things for the house. Then I decided while I'm out, you know what, I'm going to go to a breakfast place that I love to go to, that I don't get to go to as much these days. But I went there, and that was kind of nice. And then on the way back, I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and stop and get a haircut. So I stopped in and got a haircut. Getting out of there was scary because even though the roads were plowed, the driveway where we were all parked was not necessarily as plowed. And it's got this steep hill kind of thing, or uprise. So it was packed with snow. And so I had to basically kind of rev the tires a whole bunch of times to kind of get up there, look down to see if any cars were coming. If they were, then I had to come all the way back down. And I had to do that about 3 times until there was no car coming my way. And even then, it took 30 seconds. I'm serious, about 30 seconds before I could get enough traction, before I could get my car up there. So anyway, I finally get my car up there, heading back towards home, and I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and stop at the store. And so I went to the store to buy a few more things, the grocery store this time, to buy a few more things, and then I went home. And now since I'm up, I decided, you know what? I'm going to do a whole bunch of other things. And I did. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I have been trying to do things that are more in the moment, right in the moment, than I've done probably in the last couple of years. I've gotten better at doing a few things, like washing the dishes. It's just my mother and me, and mainly I'm the one who's using dishes for myself. I do have a few things for her, like I give her breakfast in this little plastic cup, and I give her dessert at night with the pills, and kind of the same thing. She's got like bottles, plastic bottles that I mix stuff together so that she'll drink out of that because she won't use a cup. But I find that if I can try to do things in the moment, then when I have to go back to certain places like the kitchen, it's not a mess. And I don't feel like, great, I got to clean all this stuff before I do something else, or walk in and see a whole bunch of clutter and say, I'm not doing that. And I thought about that earlier today when I'm walking from the laundry area, gonna go into the dining room, and I have to walk through the kitchen, and there's this dryer sheet on the floor. And I saw the dryer sheet, and I walked right by it, and then I said, wait a minute. I'm the only one who's gonna get it. Mom ain't getting it. There's nobody else here. I've got to do it. And so then I bent down and I picked it up, and I kind of giggled at myself. I said, see, you weren't really in the moment, but you caught yourself and you came back. And it really works well if you can stay in the moment for all kinds of things. For instance, one of the things I've gotten better at over the last few weeks is putting my own laundry away after I have washed it. Because, what happens is I fold my shirts back in the laundry area, I take the pants and I lay them out, then I throw everything else in the basket. And I do that because I'm trying to keep the wrinkles from certain things, and things like socks and underwear, we don't care about wrinkles with stuff like that. So I usually bring it back, but then I've always been bad at putting it away. So I would just basically leave it on the floor for 5 or 6 days. I would just walk around and ignore it. But it's kind of satisfying to say, you know what, I'm in this moment. I'm going to go ahead and do it now. It'll be out of the way. And it just takes a bit of pressure off of you. And it's kind of cool to do that. I've been working on that with email because I'm one of those people, back in the day when email was fresh, I was on top of all my email. I had nothing outstanding for me. My inbox was always clear. Now, email doesn't have the same fascination most of the time, but I still have people I need to respond to, or, different email that I have to do things with. And it's one of those kind of things where I found myself a few weeks ago where I had like almost 100 untouched emails. That was rare. So I have been scheduling myself and telling myself one of the first things I'm going to do every morning is to at least look at the important email stuff that I need to respond to or I have to do something with. If it's something, for instance, I will sometimes scan through Flipboard while I'm on the phone, smartphone here, also red. But I will scan through there, and if I find certain articles I want to read, I will email them to myself so I can read them later on the computer. So those, I said, okay, I can always get back to that stuff. But I've been getting through everything else, and I have found that because I've already gotten this pattern going about doing email, I will go through the rest of it. So being in the moment as much as you can helps to relieve your mind, helps you get motivated, actually helps you to get things done. Because I've been having a task list almost every day. I say almost every day, where I put together the night before, which is really how they suggest that you do things like that. You put things together the night before. Of course, you come in the next day and you start thinking of things like, I should have had that on the list. You just add it onto the list. But I do things like that because it just kind of frees your mind. And you know that you've gotten things done. Once it's done, it's not something you have to deal with again. I can't necessarily say that you're not going to have more dishes in the kitchen that you have to deal with, or that you're not going to have to deal with, because that's always kind of a constant thing. But it feels so much better when it's clean. The laundry put away, now it seems like that space is cleaner. Might as well kind of try that. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Just if you're thinking about it, you're living in your apartment, or you're living in a trailer home, and I don't think I mean trailer home. One of those homes, like the bus kind of thing, where you can like be in that and travel around. Not a trailer home. I don't know. I can't think of what you call those things. My goodness. I really can't think of what you call those things. But y'all know what I mean. Anyway, think about being in the moment. Maybe you put yourself a list together. Maybe you just say, you know what, here I am. I've got this thing here. Let me just do this now. Let me do this. Let me pick this up. Or let me just wash this. Let me make this. I don't know. That's how I'm doing it. I'm feeling a little bit better. How do you guys think? Y'all let me know. My name is Mitch Mitchell. If you like this kind of thing and you're not subscribed, well, shame on you. Go ahead and subscribe. You'll like it. Y'all take care.